So President Cyril Ramphosa says the United States should have followed the right processes before releasing a possible terror warning about South Africa. The U.S. Embassy warned its nationals yesterday of a possible attack targeting large gatherings in the Sandton area this coming weekend. Let's get you more on this. Govan Whittles has been attending a briefing where the President spoke a short time ago in the capital, Pretoria, during a state visit where he's hosting Spain's Pedro Sanchez. Govan, but the issue, of course, of that alert by the Americans dominating much of the questioning. What more has the President said in response?
That's right, Tembi. It was a press conference where the President made strong remarks on a number of issues. As you said, the terror alert issued by the United States Embassy in South Africa, also calling for the sanctions to be lifted on Zimbabwe and saying that they don't want a paternalistic engagement with Spain when it comes to citrus exports from South Africa into that country. Regarding the terror alert, the President revealing that the U.S. government hadn't consulted his government at all, saying that they should have done deep dive discussions with the South African government. Newzroom Afrika had asked him whether or not he's able to confirm the legitimacy of the terror alert issued by the U.S. and the President saying to Newzroom Afrika that the government's authorities are currently working to establish the veracity of these claims, but appearing more taken aback by the fact that the U.S. had issued this and explicitly saying that the United States issued it to cause panic in South Africa. Let's take a look at the comment from President Cyril Ramphosa.
It was quite unfortunate that the U.S. government issued that type of warning without having had deep dive type of discussions with us. But following that, we were able to engage them and to get to understand precisely where this warning or information has come from. We are in the course of doing precisely that, because warnings such as those do send a lot of panic amongst our people, and South Africans should be best informed by the South African government. Our agencies, as they are getting better at their job of securing our people, are alert and are looking very closely at this type of threat, and they continue to do so. So any form of alert will come from the government of the Republic of South Africa, and it is unfortunate that another government should issue such a threat as to send panic amongst our people. So the South African government is working around the clock to verify and to look very closely at this message that came from the United States.
That's President Cyril Ramphosa speaking at that media briefing with his counterpart, the President of Spain, Pedro Sanchez. Also touching on the issue of Zimbabwe's sanctions applied by mostly Western countries. The President saying that countries who have applied sanctions specifically on Zimbabwe have done so without any apparent consideration, or that they don't seem to care about the broader effects of those sanctions, which has led to what the President says is a flow of Zimbabweans into South Africa. And he called for the immediate lifting of sanctions on Zimbabwe, and saying that this would entice Zimbabweans to go to their countries and live normal lives. And then another interesting quote from the President regarding citrus exports from South Africa into Spain. The President saying that it threatens South Africa's transformation objectives, noting that South Africa has been exporting citrus for over 100 years, and that currently much of the citrus market is being dominated by new entrants of black farmers who are trying to export their crops into Europe. The Spanish government had written to the European Union earlier this month asking for additional requirements on the storage of citrus from South Africa to be placed on South African citrus. The President, our President, Cyril Ramphosa, in response saying that he raised this matter with the President of the European Union and indicated that that's not what they want. They don't want further restrictions. Newzroom Afrika did ask the Spanish President whether or not they've revised their request for those additional measures. He said that they would look for solutions to the impasse. Our president clearly treating this as an urgent matter, which he says threatens 100,000 jobs in the citrus industry. It's back to you now, Tembi.